What is going on, you guys? It's your host, Galadon. It's another Clash Royale episode, and today I've brought out the Bait Rage deck. No, the clickbait, no, well, I don't even know. But people call this Zap Bait or a Zap Bait style deck. For me, it's kind of a troll deck, but I enjoy it, and for some reason I seem to have more success with this deck than I do other decks. The Lava Hound, the Golem, just too slow for me. I don't know if it's the lack of patience or what. I like the faster paced stuff. One of the reasons I really enjoy Elite Barbarians, because they're so quick. Again, I feel like they're probably going to be nerfed, but I don't want them to get nerfed too badly. They need to be fast. They need to be one of those units that you've got to react to. But of course, there are positive elixir trades out there, and lots of them, to counter Elite Barbarians. So it's not like they're broken. So other cards, however, it wouldn't kill me if you never saw another Lava Hound or Royal Giant or Sparky. But okay, don't get me started. Anyway, so we're talking about this deck, and it's got the mirror in it, which right away is one of my favorite cards. And just to give you a hint on the hashtag MyFunDeck series, any deck that includes a mirror automatically gets extra points for fun, because it's just too cool to drop the mirror card and your opponent is not expecting it. Maybe late in the battle you mirror the Skeleton Army, you mirror the Goblin Barrel, of course, probably the most common, or maybe even mirroring the log, or you'll see later on in this episode mirroring the Fireball to bring out the even more powerful Fireball. So this opponent, obviously, he has the Elite Barbarians. He tries to sneak them in there. He's using the old Minor Distraction, but instead of smaller units, he's been trying to distract the tower with Minor and then the Elite Barbs. But check out the left side. I successfully baited out his Zap. It wasn't in his rotation, and we got almost that entire tower out of the way just in one push. So when it comes to a strategy standpoint for the Zap Bait deck, there's really just one fundamental key, and that is to bait out the Zap. Now, of course, you've also got Electro Wizard to deal with, a Log, a Fireball, arrows, even a regular Wizard, other cards that can do that splash damage. But once you know what cards are in your opponent's rotation, and like right there, you know that they're out of the rotation for a few more seconds, that is your opportunity. Always throwing the Goblin Barrel after a Zap. And even though I'm already way ahead in this one, just went pushing for that other tower anyway. The Minion Horde, the Goblin Barrel, and the Princess, all cards that you would love to be able to Fireball or Zap out of the way. And of course, you're baiting out that Zap spell because you know he's going to try to drop it on your Skeleton Army when he's got his Elite Barbs in. So there is a little more to knowing your opponent's deck than just waiting for the Zap. But it seems to work out for me anyway as I self-fireball my King's Tower. I don't know why I do that. I just sometimes. All right, so a 2-0 win from the Zap Bait deck, and that's usually what seems to happen with this deck is I either completely stomp my opponent or I get annihilated. Again, having some difficulty with Lava Hounds, but the Minion Horde, if I can mirror it, even though that's 11 elixir, usually it manages to take down the Golems and the Lava Hounds. So ideally for this deck, I want to be able to drop the Furnace first. That is just a perfect card to have right off the bat. Next to that, I'll start with a Princess. If I have to, I'll start with a Goblin Barrel, but I would love to be able to save that a little bit later, especially when I can mirror it. Now there goes the Log. So right now we are just taking inventory of his counter cards. We know he's got the Log. We know he's got the Skeleton Army. And yes, of course, he has the Zap spell in there. The Witch, also doing splash damage. Here he's got the Zap ready for me. Now, of course, we will have to mention the fact that his Zap did not one-shot my little barrel goblins, and that is a bit of an advantage for me. Gonna admit that. Right there, a lucky Log just happens to catch a pair of Elite Barbs as they rush in. This guy trying to enrage them, but he did not have the Zap to take out the Skarmy. And here we go, twin pushes. He uses the Log down the right-hand side. That means the left-hand side is the Goblin Barrel and the Fire Spirits at the same time. And quickly, he goes from the thumbs up to the Crying King as he notices his tower is less than a Fireball's health away from going down. So again, trying to watch the cycle and know what he is going to have in his hand and what he's not going to have in his hand is key, especially these days. I find that people are going to use the Zap. Now right there, I'm just going to call that a frustration Zap. I don't know what that was. Maybe they're giving up. I don't know. But he zapped my Furnace. and maybe he's trying to disturb the cycle. Again, the log gets lucky, grabs one of the elite barbs. He tries the rage again, but of course, he's used up his zap, and my skeleton army is just going to completely obliterate. And then his log misses my princess. That was a bit of an oops. I had to throw up the taunt right there. As his log just barely misses her, that princess is definitely the Usain Bolt breed of princesses as she runs around the corner. Left side, the last fire spirit takes the tower down, 1-0 lead, and with 40 seconds left, you guys can see it again. 3 furnaces are up. He zaps my king's tower. That is the sign that he is done, and I'm going to go ahead and push hard and try to grab the 2-0 win, which some people might see as a bit of bad manners simply because it's a challenge and crowns don't matter. I still pushed anyway, and I'm eventually going to grab this right tower. So really what this episode is about also, though, is the emotes and the fact that I generally try not to bad manner my opponent. Now, there is no rule against it in my clans simply because the mute button is there. Come on, in fact, most of these games, I'm turning on the mute button early on in the game. I mean, if you ever play me and you don't see me respond, that's why. I've muted you from the start. Occasionally, I'll throw in a thumbs up, but this next game kind of snapped me just a little bit. A little bit of Gala Rage happened, and you'll see why. Now, it's one of those things where maybe you're having a good day, maybe you're having a bad day, maybe you're in a good mood, maybe you just lost 5 battles in a row, or maybe you're on a winning streak. Here he manages to zap, and here comes the surprise Skarmy in behind the ice golem, and that is going to take down those barbs. So I love that. The fact that he zapped me, but I was able to grab a second skeleton army and take him down. Of course, now my mirror card has been exposed, so I no longer have that sneak attack of being able to mirror something like the Goblin Barrel. He's going to be expecting it. I'm still cataloging his counters. Now we want to see what else he has besides zap. Love it right here, throwing in the fireball and finishing with the ice spirit. It's almost like that fireball temporarily stunned the musketeer that would normally take down 2 fire spirits without any damage whatsoever. Right there, she got pushed forward into the fire spirit, and the fire spirit finished her off. I don't think I could do that again if I tried, just being honest. All right, so here comes the Goblin Barrel, and the zap was not quite ready. He throws elite barbs in, and yes, that was a nice Gala. Oops, the Gala failed, throwing the Goblin Barrel basically into the river. I don't know. I still don't know how that happened. It happened. Tell me, does that happen to you guys? Tell me down in the comments. Does that ever happen to you that you feel like you grabbed one card and it actually is a different card that came off the bottom of the screen? I don't know if it's the iPad screwing up or what, but anyway, just happens to me again and again and again. Speaking of not being able to do it again, there you can see I could not replicate that fire spirit finishing off the musketeer, but that time the princess got the job done, and here comes another princess. I don't know what it is. That is, again, one of my favorite cards right now, you guys. Mirror card, princess card, and mirroring the princess. I feel like she's not that bad of a deal at 4 elixir. Okay, so of course, he did get some damage in, and that was it, you guys. That was the moment when I Gala snapped. That laugh when the elite barbs got to the tower, I don't know what it was. I realized it wasn't really bad manners, but it set me off. I was done. Okay, I'm steaming. At this point in the game, I'm fuming. I don't know why, but I was. Elite barbs are frustrating to run up against, and for some reason, when he threw in the laughter like that, I was just like, okay, this does it. I'm going to focus. There comes his zap spell, so his zap is down once again. Here come the minions, and here come the Goblin Barrels. Right there, the first Goblin Barrel lands. The second one is going to get in there along with the minions. Oops, tower down, and we're into the final 10 seconds, and I go full BM. Oops, thanks, he zaps my tower. Time is going to run out. I drop the crying eyes on him, and I don't know, you guys. And then well played. I mean, I'm almost embarrassed about how BM I went on this guy, and I feel a little bit guilty now. But hey, come on, admit it's happened to you before. Sometimes you just snap and you can't help but go all bad manners on somebody else. Or maybe you're perfect and you have no temper at all. Either way, thank you guys for being here all the way to the end of this episode. You are the true hashtag GalaFam. Thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care, but subscribe and come back again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon. Thumbs up, thumbs down, you don't care. Alright.